What's wrong? Not meta enough for you? Hello there everyone, it's me, Chief Balupa, and today I've come to ask one very simple question.
What the hell is wrong with everyone?
There is a weapon in Soldier's Loadout they call the shotgun, and it's been ignored by most of the player base. But God, I'm not one. And the Liberty Launcher is important too. Yep, today's video is about Soldier's shotguns, primarily the reserve shooter, but also the Liberty Launcher. These two weapons have always perplexed me in how overlooked they are, and it's all because of one line of red text. It's kinda sad if you ask me, because it feels like they do everything in their power to compensate for that red text. The Liberty Launcher in particular feels like the Faramir of the rocket launcher family. Like, this poor thing can hold an additional rocket in its tube. The rockets fly faster to make direct hits easier without the explosion radius penalty that the direct hit has. And you take 25% less damage from rocket jumps, meaning you can jump a whole lot more, which is a lot of fun, even if it does get me killed quite frequently. But in most people's eyes, none of this matters because it has 25% less damage. And I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like 25% less damage isn't a lot, because it absolutely is. In fact, by itself, the weapon can feel quite underpowered. But that's the thing, you're not supposed to use the Liberty Launcher by itself, because believe it or not, this is a comboing weapon, and an extremely fun one at that. Now introducing the reserve shooter. You know, I occasionally see people using the Liberty Launcher, but I never see anyone using the reserve shooter. And I really don't get why. It's not like the Liberty Launcher where it has a substantial damage difference. It's just 2 less shots per reload, and 4 shots is more than enough to kill most classes, so it's really confusing to me. Hi there everyone, I won't waste too much of your time, just wanted to let you know I have a new gameplay channel, so if you like stuff like this...
I'm
Oh, you're trying to drive it. Oh! Then please feel free to come on over to Chief Balupa Gameplay, where I'll be posting all sorts of different gameplay related videos, whether it's one-offs, let's plays, that sort of thing. And yes, I am wearing my pajamas right now. You gotta do this stuff while you still have motivation to do it, as in late at night at 2 a.m. But enough with me rambling and on with the video. Seriously, I haven't covered a playstyle this underrated since the shortstop. Oh god, it's visual proof of my progress as an animator. Don't look! Ugh! My leading theory is that most people are really bad at landing direct hits. Because if that's the case, then you can't take advantage of the best part of the reserve shooter, and that's that it deals mini crits to people launched by explosives. And if you think about this for just a second, you'll realize that this is the flare gun to your degreaser. In fact, this weapon is not only equipable by Pyro, but it used to be part of a very overpowered combo. So do you find getting air blasted by a Pyro and then shot with a flare gun annoying? Imagine now if they didn't need to worry about projectile, and they had 2 additional shots to follow up with. But it's hard for me to say what I thought because I didn't play Pyro back then. I really used to hate this guy. But I digress. There is a very good reason that these weapons are paired together and share a similar style. It's because I can't imagine using one without the other. I legitimately believe that if you use any other weapon with the Liberty Launcher, you're gonna have a bad time. Because I love this thing, but it just can't stand on its own. It's not designed that way. Because what the Liberty Launcher lacks in damage, it more than makes up for in versatility and unpredictability in combat. Again, as long as it's paired with the reserve shooter. There are 2 main strategies available when using the Liberty Launcher and reserve shooter. I'll call them doom switching and skeet shooting. Skeet shooting is the general idea that you're familiar with, using your explosions to launch your enemies into the air so that you can quickly switch the reserve shooter to shoot them out of it. It sounds like it'd be really inconsistent, but in a rather physics-defying manner, your enemies will be consistently launched as long as you land the rockets at their legs. Meaning that while in combat, if you're careful to keep your aim a little lower, you can expect to have enemies launched into the air fairly frequently. This may seem a little pointless to do at close range, as you could just follow it up with another rocket, but at medium to long range it's far more reliable, as shooting them with some hit scan bullets will be far more consistent than trying to land an airshot rocket. And due to the fact that mini-crits disable damage fall off, if you're able to land all 10 pellets on an enemy at once, you are able to do at minimum 80 damage per shot, and at most 122. A whole 38 more damage than what you would have gotten if you followed it up with another Liberty Launcher rocket at maximum ramp up. The Liberty Launcher, in my opinion, is by far the best rocket launcher to make this work. Not only does it have faster rockets to make direct hits easier, but it doesn't sacrifice explosion radius, meaning you don't even need to hit the enemy in order for it to be qualified as a launch. And yeah, the reduced damage does technically mean that launched enemies will not go as high. Come on, it's not that bad. Just a little shorter. And the increased switch speed of the reserve shooter more than makes up for it anyway. But if I were to buff the Liberty Launcher, I would give it plus 25% explosion force. Especially since, due to Heavy's knockback resistance, you can't use this strategy on him at all. Sadly, you're completely incapable of getting him off the ground. If this whole thing sounds kind of similar, it's because the direct hit has a very similar mechanic. So this whole idea is like having the direct hit in your back pocket, ready to fire at any moment. So in the end, if you like combination-based gameplay, you owe it to yourself to try this. There aren't many things as satisfying as executing this combo perfectly. But we're not done yet, because even if you can't pull off this combo, there's a whole other strategy that makes using this combination of weapons entirely worth it. Doom switching is a strategy inspired by Doom Eternal, which involves the rapid swapping of weapons throughout a sustained fight to suit your needs. I don't play Doom Eternal, but I do play something way better. With the reserve shooter and Liberty Launcher and their increased projectile and swap speed, the exact same concept can be applied to TF2, allowing you to take full advantage of the fact you're a projectile-based class with access to hit scan, something demo mains could only dream of. But it goes beyond the usual usefulness of switching weapons just to fit the situation. It's a lot more psychological than the kind of thing you do in Doom Eternal, as in Doom Eternal you're fighting NPCs. In this game, you're fighting actual players that you need to outsmart. Because you see, over the years, players have gotten very knowledgeable on how to deal with all different kinds of weapons. There's a very profound difference between how to act when faced with a rocket launcher as opposed to something from hitscan. And considering how much damage a rocket launcher can do, people have gotten really good at knowing how to avoid getting hit by it, especially pyros. The moment someone sees a soldier, they know exactly how to maneuver. They'll juke in all sorts of different directions, maneuvering backward and jumping, all to diminish the amount of splash damage they take, or completely avoid any damage altogether. Or in the case of pyro, they'll just bait out a rocket so they can send it right back at you. Now, how does someone deal with a hit scan weapon? Sure, they might try some juking maneuvers, but they're not nearly as evasive as with rockets. Primarily, they'll try to shoot you down at the same time, because they know hit scan can't be dodged nearly as easily. In a situation like that, they're nowhere near as defensive, and obviously pyros don't have anything to air blast. Now imagine if you could force your enemy to fight in the wrong reactive state, making them try to defend against a projectile weapon while fighting a hit scan one and vice versa. That's what the increased swap and rocket speed are for. You're able to get your damage out so fast that the enemy hasn't even realized they've been hit by the wrong weapon. Rockets that would normally miss or just chip enemies now hit them directly, and shots that are normally very difficult to land with your shotgun are suddenly very easy. Here's an example. Look at this pyro. This guy is holding a shotgun, but the moment I hit him with a rocket, he switches to the flamethrower and starts making his movements more predictable so that he can line up an air blast, making him easy pickings with my reserve shooter. These are just the sort of mind games that are constantly in play with this playstyle. Part of what makes it so fun and part of the reason why TF2 is such a great shooter. And before you mention it, yes, the panic attack is capable of this combo as well. I just don't really use it because I prefer a tighter spread and the switch speed is a little overkill, I feel like. But regardless, I feel like now is a good time to give some love to the other shotguns too, because even if you can't do this combo, they're still definitely worth using. And it's all because of one very simple thing that I don't think most people even think about. Maybe I can get the point across like this. Medic! Self-damage sucks. It makes no sense in my mind how this is forgotten about by most people, because it takes only 3 point-blank self-damage rockets to drain your health completely. 3. So if an enemy shows up right in front of your face when you're not ready, you need to either switch to your melee weapon or trade a huge chunk of health to attack them. So in running a shotgun, you can employ a very simple strategy to make sure you're ready to fight at any moment. Just have your shotgun out anytime you're rounding corners in tight spots. So especially handy in maps like Junction. That way, if you ever come face to face with an enemy you weren't expecting, you can blow them away with a round of buckshot instead of trading your health. It's a whole lot more impactful than it sounds. This is actually one strategy that the panic attack is really good at, because with its higher damage output but higher spread, it's much more effective in tight spaces. This is relying on your ability to hit scan over projectiles, but he is right in your face. If you miss this, you deserve to die anyway. But that's not to say the only time you should use it is in close quarters. There are plenty of classes that would like nothing more than to close that distance on you, and instead of hitting them in the face with a rocket, making their next attack more likely to kill you, just shoot them with your shotgun instead. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I know it's a bit late, but I've been distracted.
It's all your fault!
A bit par for the course for this channel though, isn't it? Oh well, if you'd like to see more, remember to subscribe, and also check out my gameplay channel if you're interested. I'll be uploading a lot more frequently on there, I can tell you that. Let me know what you thought about the video in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. I'm Chief Balupa. Have a wonderful day.